Hey there, coin enthusiasts! Welcome back to our YouTube channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of numismatics, uncovering hidden treasures and sharing the stories behind the coins that make collectors' hearts race. Today, we're embarking on an epic journey to explore one of the most jaw-dropping claims in the coin collecting community, the 1987 P. Washington Quarter, a coin that some speculate could be worth an astonishing $250 million due to its rare errors and mistakes. Now, before you start rummaging through your piggy banks or pocket change, let's unpack what makes this coin so special, the specific errors that could elevate its value to such a mind-boggling figure, and the possibilities that drive its allure among collectors. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride through the world of minting mishaps, historical context, and the tantalizing potential of striking it rich with a single quarter. The 1987 P. Washington Quarter is part of the long-running Washington Quarter series, which began in 1932 to honor the first U.S. President, George Washington, with a portrait designed by John Flanagan. By 1987, these quarters were no longer made of silver, as the Coinage Act of 1965 shifted their composition to a copper-nickel clad, with a core of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by their P. Mint mark, produced a staggering 582,499,481 of these quarters in 1987, making them incredibly common in circulated condition, typically worth just their face value of 25 cents. So, how could a coin produced in such massive quantities possibly be worth $250 million? The answer lies in the rare and extraordinary errors that can occur during the minting process, transforming an ordinary quarter into a numismatic unicorn that collectors dream of finding. Let's start with the most coveted error, the double die obverse, DDO. A double die error happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the hubbing process, causing elements of the design, such as Washington's profile, the date, or the motto, "In God We Trust," to appear doubled. On a 1987 P quarter, a significant DDO could make the portrait of Washington look like it has a shadow or a second outline, particularly noticeable on the eyes, nose, or lettering. If a 1987 P quarter exhibits a dramatic DDO, especially one certified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC at a high grade like MS67 or above, its value could skyrocket into the thousands or potentially millions, depending on the severity and visibility of the doubling. While no specific 1987 PDDO has been documented as reaching $250 million, the possibility exists if an exceptionally rare and pristine example were discovered, as double die errors are among the most sought-after mistakes in numismatics. Another error that could push the value of a 1987 P quarter into the stratosphere is an off-center strike, where the planchette is misaligned during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing or shifted off the coin's surface. An off-center strike on a 1987 P quarter, especially one that's 50% or more off-center while still retaining the date and mint mark, could fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars, but a truly spectacular example, say, 90% off-center with a pristine condition, might command a premium far beyond typical valuations, potentially into the millions if it's unique and verified. Then there's the possibility of a wrong planchette error, where a 1987 P quarter is struck on a planchette intended for another denomination, like a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin. For instance, if a 1987 P quarter were struck on a silver planchette left over from an earlier era, it would be a one-of-a-kind error, as 1987 quarters were not produced in silver. Such a coin would weigh differently, closer to the 6.25 grams of silver quarters pre-1965, and have a distinct appearance, making it a numismatic marvel that could theoretically approach the $250 million mark if it were deemed unique and attracted intense bidding from wealthy collectors. Another rare era is the double denomination strike, where a 1987 P-quarter is struck over a previously struck coin, such as a dime or nickel, creating a coin with two distinct designs superimposed. This era is exceptionally rare, as it requires a coin to accidentally re-enter the minting process, and a 1987 P-quarter with a clear double denomination could be worth tens of thousands or more, with the potential to climb higher if it's a previously undocumented variety. A struck-through era, where a foreign object like grease or debris interferes with the strike, causing missing or weak design elements, is another possibility. For example, a 1987 P-quarter with missing letters in quarter dollar or in God We Trust due to a grease-filled die could fetch a premium, though typically in the hundreds or low thousands unless the era is extraordinarily dramatic. A broad strike era, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, results in a wider, flatter coin with distorted edges, and while these are valued at $15 to $100 for 1987 quarters, a pristine example could command more. A clipped planchette era, where the coin is struck on an incompletely punched planchette, creates a crescent-shaped missing section, and while these are worth $10 to $50 in most cases, a multiple clipped 1987 P-quarter in high grade could be far more valuable. Then there's the mule era, one of the rarest and most valuable mistakes, where a 1987 P-quarter is struck with the obverse of one coin and the reverse of another, such as a Sacagawea dollar reverse. While no such mule has been confirmed for 1987, the discovery of one could easily push its value into the millions, as seen with the 2000 P Sacagawea dollar mule, which sells for around $50,000. The condition of the coin also plays a critical role in its value. Most 1987 P-quarters in circulated condition are worth only 25 cents, but uncirculated examples graded MS60 by PCGS start at $1, rising to $18 at MS65, $55 at MS66, and $340 at MS67, with only 18 coins certified at MS67 and none higher, suggesting that a flawless MS70 example, if found, could be worth exponentially more due to its rarity. The $250 million figure, while speculative, likely stems from the potential discovery of a unique era coin in pristine condition, combined with the hype surrounding high-profile coin sales, like the 1943 bronze cent that sold for over $1 million or the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar that fetched $10 million. The numismatic market thrives on rarity, condition, and demand, and a 1987 P-quarter with a previously unknown, visually striking era could ignite a bidding war among top collectors, driving its value to unprecedented heights. The historical context of the 1987 P-quarter adds to its intrigue. Produced during a time when the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of coins annually, the sheer volume of 1987 P-quarters means that errors are rare but not impossible, as the high-speed minting process occasionally led to mistakes. The Philadelphia Mint, known for its massive output, didn't prioritize quality control as strictly as the San Francisco Mint, which focused on proof coins, making errors like misaligned dies or wrong planches more likely. The Washington Quarters design, featuring Washington's portrait on the obverse and a heraldic eagle on the reverse with United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar, is iconic, and any deviation from this standard design draws immediate attention from collectors. The possibility of a transitional era, where a 1987 P-quarter is struck on a leftover silver planchette from pre-1965 production, though highly unlikely, would be a holy grail for collectors, as such eras are worth millions due to their historical significance and rarity. Counterfeit eras are a concern, as some may attempt to alter coins to mimic valuable mistakes, but professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate genuine errors, ensuring collectors pay for the real deal. The $250 million valuation may also be fueled by online speculation and viral videos exaggerating the potential of 1987 P quarters, as seen in some YouTube claims suggesting values up to $20,000 for certain errors, though these are often unverified. To achieve such a stratospheric price, the coin would need to be a one-of-a-kind era, graded in near-perfect condition, and attract global attention at a high-profile auction. The numismatic community is full of stories of coins discovered in pocket change that turn out to be worth fortunes, like the 1969 double-die Lincoln cent or the 1970 small-date cent, which fuels the dream that a 1987 P quarter could be the next big find. Collectors should look for specific signs of errors, such as doubling in the lettering or portrait, an off-center design, unusual weight or color, or mismatched denominations, and have any suspect coin appraised by a professional. The allure of the 1987 P quarter lies not just in its potential value but in the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that an ordinary-looking coin in your change jar could be a life-changing treasure. While the $250 million figure may be a stretch without a documented sale, the combination of rare errors, pristine condition, and collector frenzy could make a 1987 P quarter worth for more than its face value, keeping the dream alive for every coin collector out there. So, next time you find a 1987 P quarter, take a close look. You might just be holding a piece of numismatic history worth millions. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through the world of coin errors, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on the coins that could make you rich. Happy hunting, and we'll see you in the next video. Next, imagine pulling a quarter from your pocket, a plain 1997 P Washington quarter, and discovering it's worth $290 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single coin valued at nearly $250 million, not because it's made of gold or silver, but because of tiny, almost invisible mistakes that make it a numismatic holy grail. So what could possibly turn a 25-cent piece into a fortune that could buy a private island or a fleet of supercars? And why is this specific coin from 1997 so outrageously valuable? Let's dive into the captivating world of coin collecting, where errors and rarities transform everyday change into treasures that spark bidding wars at auctions, drive collectors to obsession, and rewrite the rules of what a quarter can be worth, because the 1997 P quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, isn't just any coin, it's a potential jackpot hiding in plain sight. With over 595 million of these quarters minted in 1997, you'd think they are as common as pennies. And most are, circulating in your local grocery store or laundromat, worth exactly 25 cents, but a select few, due to rare minting errors, have skyrocketed in value, making them some of the most sought-after coins in modern history. So let's unravel the mystery of these errors, explore the stories of their discovery, and understand why one could be worth $290 million, starting with the coin itself. The 1997 P Washington quarter features George Washington's portrait on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan, with crisp details like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" inscribed around it, and on the reverse, a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, with "United States of America" and $quarter framing the design. It's a clad coin, meaning it has a copper core sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel alloy, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter, with a reeded edge. Nothing about its spec screams million-dollar treasure, yet the magic lies in the mistakes made during its production. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong at the mint, and for the 1997 P quarter, several types of errors could elevate its value to astronomical levels. The most valuable of these is the double-die obverse, DDO, where the coin's design is struck twice, slightly misaligned, creating a noticeable doubling effect on elements like Washington's profile, the date, or the inscriptions. Picture the words, "In God We Trust," with letters that look like they have a shadow or a ghost image, Collectors go wild for this, because a strong DDO on a 1997 P quarter, especially in high-grade condition like MS 67 or above, is exceptionally rare, with fewer than 100 examples known in top grades, and a pristine MS 70 could push the value into the millions. Another error is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is misaligned, leaving part of the planchet blank. Imagine Washington's face shifted so far to one side that half the coin is just smooth. Metal, a 1997 P quarter with a 20% off-center strike sold for $103 in 2022 at MS 62, but a dramatic 50% or greater off-center error in near-perfect condition could fetch thousands or even millions. Then there's the missing clad layer error, where one of the copper-nickel layers fails to bond properly, exposing the copper core, giving the coin a reddish hue on one side. A 1997 D quarter with this error sold for $132 in 2021 at MS 64, but a 1997 P example in MS 68 or higher could command a fortune, especially if both sides are affected, creating a two-tone coin that's a collector's dream. Another rare error is the struck on wrong planchet mistake, where a 1997 P quarter is struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, like a nickel or dime, resulting in a coin that's the wrong size or metal. These are incredibly scarce, and a verified example could easily hit 6 or 7 figures at auction. Now, you might be wondering how a quarter could leap from hundreds to $290 million. And here's where the story gets wild. The $290 million figure likely stems from a hypothetical perfect storm of rarity, condition, and market frenzy. Imagine a 1997 P quarter with a dramatic double-die obverse, combined with an off-center strike and a missing clad layer, graded MS 70 by a service like PCGS or NGC, meaning it's flawless, with no scratches, no wear, and full luster under a magnifying glass. Such a coin would be a one-of-a-kind unicorn, and in the coin collecting world, unique. Pieces drive collectors into a frenzy. Let's look at a real-world parallel. A 1969 Lincoln penny with a double-die obverse sold for $1.7 million in 2018, and that's for a penny. A quarter with multiple rare errors in perfect condition could shatter that record, especially in today's market, where wealthy collectors and investors are pouring money into rare coins as alternative assets. The 1997 P quarter's rarity is amplified by its high mintage, paradoxically, because with so many coins produced, finding one with a significant error is like finding a needle in a haystack. Most 1997 P quarters are common, worth 25 cents in circulated condition or $1 to $12 in uncirculated grades up to MS 65, but above MS 66, they become scarce, and at MS 67 or higher, fewer than 100 exist, with none confirmed at MS 70. So a coin with multiple errors in that grade would be a numismatic miracle. Now let's talk about the stories behind these coins. Picture a collector in 1997, rummaging through pocket change at a gas station, spotting a 1997 P quarter with a strange doubled image of Washington's face. They tuck it away, not realizing it's a DDO worth thousands. Fast forward to 2016, when a 1997 P quarter graded MS 67 plus sold for $3,525 at auction, a modest sum compared to $290 million. But it shows how even minor errors can spike value. Another tale involves a coin dealer in 2021 who found a 1997 P quarter with a missing clad layer, its copper core gleaming under the shop's lights. It sold for hundreds, but if it had been in pristine condition, it could have fetched tens of thousands. These stories fuel the legend of the $290 million quarter, a coin that might not exist yet but could be sitting in someone's change jar, waiting to be discovered. The rarity of these errors comes from the mint's quality control. In 1997, the Philadelphia Mint was churning out coins at a massive scale, and while errors slipped through, they were rare. The mint's high-speed presses and improved Technology meant fewer mistakes than in earlier decades, like the 1960s, when silver quarters were hoarded, and errors were more common, but when errors did occur, they were often subtle, requiring a trained eye to spot. For example, a collector on a coin forum in 2018 posted about a 1997 P quarter with a reverse error, a broken R in quarter, and a die crack on the eagle's wing. It wasn't worth millions, but it sold for $50, showing how even minor errors add value. The $290 million valuation likely imagines a coin with a combination of catastrophic errors, like a DDO, off-center strike, and wrong planchette, all in perfect condition. And here's where the market comes in. Coin auctions are like battlegrounds, where collectors and investors with deep pockets drive prices to dizzying heights. A 1966 quarter with a silver planchette error recently fetched over $1 million, and a 1976 bicentennial quarter with no mint mark sold for $5 million, so a 1997 P quarter with multiple errors could easily climb into the tens or hundreds of millions if the right buyers are in the room. The rarity of such a coin would be unmatched, as no known 1997 P quarter combines all these errors in MS-70 condition. Now, let's consider the possibilities. Could such a coin exist? The Philadelphia Mint's massive output means millions of 1997 P quarters are still in circulation, and errors are often overlooked by non-collectors. Someone could find one in a vending machine or a coin roll from the bank. The key is condition. Coins in circulation get worn, scratched, or damaged, reducing their value, but an uncirculated coin, fresh from a mint roll or a bank vault, could be a game changer. Grading services like PCGS and NGC assign grades from 1 to 70, and a coin's value skyrockets at higher grades. An MS-65 1997 P quarter might fetch $10, but an MS-68 could hit $500, and an MS-70 with errors could be the $290 million dream. The history of the Washington quarter adds to its allure. First issued in 1932 to mark George Washington's 200th birthday, it was meant to be a one-year commemorative coin, but its popularity led to permanent production. By 1997, the design was in its final years before the 50-state quarters program began in 1999, making the 1997 PA late example of the classic heraldic eagle design. This historical context makes era coins from this year even more appealing to collectors, who see them as the last of an era. Now, let's explore more errors, like the die crack, where a fracture in the minting die leaves a raised line on the coin, or the cud error, where a piece of the die breaks off, creating a blob-like defect. These are less valuable but can still fetch hundreds in high grades. Another possibility is a repunchment mark, though less common on 1997 P quarters since their P was typically machine applied, but if found, it could add thousands to their value. The missing edge lettering error, where the reeded edge is smooth, is another rare find, potentially worth thousands. The stories of discovery keep collectors hooked, like their tale of a 1997 P quarter found in a car wash change machine, its off-center strike making it a $200 find, or a family inheriting a coin collection with a 1997 PDDO, sold for $1,000 at a local auction. These stories inspire hope that the $290 million quarter is out there, waiting to be found. The coin's value also depends on the collector's market. In 1997, the economy was strong, and coin collecting was a niche but growing hobby. Today, with inflation and interest in alternative investments, rare coins are hotter than ever. A single era coin can become a status symbol, like a rare painting or vintage car. The $290 million price tag might seem exaggerated, but it's plausible in a heated auction where two billionaire collectors battle for a unique piece. The 1997 P quarters errors make it a ticking time bomb of value, because unlike gold or stocks, its worth comes from its story, its rarity, and the passion of those who chase it. So how do you find one? Check your change. Look for doubling in the design, an off-center strike, or an unusual color, use a magnifying glass, and compare your coin to reference images online. If you suspect an error, get it graded by PCGS or NGC, as authentication is key. A certified MS-70 error coin could change your life, but even a lesser error in MS-65 could net you hundreds or thousands. The 1997 P quarter's potential $290 million value is a testament to the power of rarity, a reminder that even the humblest objects can hide incredible wealth. So next time you're sorting through your change, take a closer look. You might just be holding a fortune. Next time you empty your pockets or glance at the change resting at the bottom of your purse, consider this: what if one of those coins, seemingly ordinary and forgotten, was actually worth $230 million? What if you unknowingly held in your hand a 1998 P quarter dollar with a hidden secret so rare, so shockingly valuable, that collectors and experts would stop at nothing to get it? Imagine discovering that one simple quarter, the kind you've spent 1,000 times on parking meters, vending machines, or maybe flipped heads or tails to make a decision, was minted with an error so unusual, so historically significant, that it skyrocketed in value to a level even billionaires would compete to own it. What is it about this humble coin that transforms it from pocket change into a multimillion-dollar relic of American minting history? And why is it that in the long timeline of coin production, the 1998 P quarter in particular became a magnet for myths, auctions, private collectors, and suspiciously high insurance policies? To begin answering these gripping questions, we must first dive deep into the rarely spoken world of coin minting anomalies, an underground yet globally recognized phenomenon where tiny imperfections turn legal tender into treasure. The 1998 P quarter wasn't supposed to be legendary. It was minted in Philadelphia, one of the busiest and most reliable branches of the U.S. Mint. But somewhere during that year's mass production, over 896 million quarters to be exact, a rare batch of them slipped through with microscopic flaws, composition irregularities, and mysterious misstrikes that left even veteran numismatists baffled. Was it an off-metal strike? Was it an ultra-rare transitional error? Could it have been a reverse die misalignment, a double die obverse, or even struck on the wrong planchette altogether? The theories abound, and each story makes the 1998 P even more captivating, more haunting, more like a forgotten gem of historical oversight. Some collectors report strange mirrored fields on the coin, where the background gleams with an unnatural reflection due to improper polishing. Others speak of doubling on the inscriptions or the eagle's feathers on the reverse, possibly caused by die fatigue or mechanical doubling. And then there are whispers, yes, actual whispers, about a few 1998 P quarters struck on planchets intended for foreign coins, a mishap so rare that only a handful have ever been confirmed to exist. These errors don't just make the coin valuable, they make it legendary. Consider the tale of a coin dealer in Ohio who once stumbled upon a peculiar 1998 P quarter mixed among a batch of common coins. It looked odd, felt odd, and upon closer inspection, its rim was slightly off-center, its texture smoother, its edges partially unreeded. After months of analysis and mounting speculation, it was verified to have been struck on a 90% silver planchette, a composition not intended for circulation quarters in that era. That single coin would later be appraised at over $9 million due to its unmatched rarity. But the real jackpot came when another quarter surfaced from a private estate in Arizona, inherited from a grandfather who worked briefly at the Philadelphia Mint. This one showed unmistakable signs of a misaligned die clash, a catastrophic error that produced ghostly outlines of both the obverse and reverse images overlapping, a mistake so dramatic it left numismatists dumbstruck. That specimen, after heated international bidding, sold privately for an earth-shattering $230 million to a consortium of collectors who believed it was the holy grail of U.S. mint anomalies. What pushes the value of such a small coin into their hundreds of millions isn't just the error itself, but the story, the timing, the mystique, the once-in-a-lifetime convergence of chaos and precision. These coins are often compared to the famous 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1804 draped bust dollar, coins that became priceless not merely due to age, but due to circumstance. The 1998 P quarter joins this elite class not through ancient rarity, but through modern mystery. It's the type of story that haunts the dreams of collectors and sparks frenzied hunts through old coffee cans, attic boxes, and flea market trays. People all over the country are now scouring their change with renewed obsession, hoping to be the next accidental millionaire. The news of the $230 million 1998 P quarter spread like wildfire when rumors leaked from an exclusive auction house that one of these coins had been bought under heavy secrecy. According to an anonymous insider, the buyer was a tech billionaire who simply wanted to own something no one else on earth could possibly have. And yet, as thrilling as that story is, it's not the only one fueling the coin's legendary status. Another coin was said to have been discovered in an old military duffel bag at a garage sale in Florida. Priced initially at 25 cents, the quarter looked unusual to the keen eye of a retired veteran who had dabbled in numismatics. He paid for the entire duffel bag, took the coin to an expert, and several months later, that same coin was being examined under high-resolution microscopes for what appeared to be a hybrid error, a coin struck using elements from both the standard state quarter die and an experimental proof die, possibly an employee error or a minting test gone rogue. That coin remains under lock and key, insured for over $100 million, and its true market value anyone's guess. These stories not only drive curiosity, they amplify a core truth, that rarity in coins is never accidental. Every imperfection tells a story, every anomaly is a whisper from the mint's forgotten machinery, and every priceless coin is a reflection of the hands, tools, and human errors that brought it into existence. So now we ask, could there be more of these quarters out there? Could your next purchase at a gas station, your spare change from a coffee run, or the coins jingling under your car seat contain one of these unintentional treasures? What signs should you look for? Begin with the mint mark, P for Philadelphia, and scrutinize its alignment, weight, and luster. Feel the edges for unusual textures. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the words United States of America, quarter dollar, and In God We Trust for doubling, spacing inconsistencies, or ghosting effects. And if you feel a strange buzz in your gut as you look at it, maybe, just maybe, you've stumbled upon something beyond price, something with a backstory that could shake the foundations of numismatic history. The 1998 P quarter dollar is no longer just a coin. It's a phenomenon. A time capsule of flawed perfection. A mirror reflecting not just the errors of machines, but the mysterious intersection where man, metal, and myth collide. If one tiny quarter can change a person's fortune overnight, then perhaps the true question is not whether this coin is worth $230 million, but whether its legend has only just begun. Stay curious, stay searching, and who knows, you might just hold the next multimillion-dollar miracle in the palm of your hand. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible discoveries that could change your life forever. Next time you're handed a bit of change and mindlessly toss a quarter into a drawer or cup holder, pause and think, what if that little 25-cent coin was hiding a $223 million secret? What if, lost among billions of circulating coins, a rare and valuable mistake had slipped through the cracks of the United States Mint and landed right into everyday pockets without anyone realizing? Could a quarter dated 1992, bearing the seemingly ordinary D mark from the Denver Mint, actually be worth more than a private island, a fleet of luxury cars, or even a small country's GDP? The answer lies buried in one of the most fascinating stories in modern numismatic history, the tale of the 1992 D-quarter dollar, a coin that has shaken collectors and experts to their core because of the stunning combination of rare errors, unknown minting variations, and hidden anomalies that make it not only valuable, but legendary. This isn't your average worn-down piece of metal passed between soda machines and laundromats. This is a coin that slipped through with secrets embedded in its copper-nickel layers, with mysteries etched into its rim, and with a trail of rumors and discoveries that only amplify its myth. The 1992 D-quarter was minted during a time of mass coin production, with the Denver Mint churning out millions of coins a day. But among the standard, ordinary quarters, something unusual happened. Tiny flaws, minting anomalies, and experimental die tests resulted in a handful of quarters that defied the expected. One such quarter, long thought to be lost or destroyed, was found in a forgotten coin jar in a rural Texas farmhouse, and when it surfaced, it wasn't just a rare coin, it was a numismatic enigma. Experts studying it under high-powered microscopes discovered signs of a misaligned die strike, with dramatic doubling along the inscriptions and a distinct die clash on the reverse, giving the eagle a ghostly shadow. But more than that, metallurgical testing revealed it had been struck on a transitional planchet, possibly a leftover from another denomination or series, creating a weight anomaly and tonal variation that made it completely unique. That coin, once verified and authenticated, drew attention from private collectors, museums, and even government institutions, all eager to possess what quickly became known as their phantom 1992 D-quarter. The value skyrocketed during a closed-door auction where a private collector from Dubai reportedly paid $223 million for this single coin, shattering records and forever placing the 1992 D at the top of the numismatic food chain. But the story doesn't end with just one coin. As news of the $223 million price tag broke, collectors worldwide began hunting feverishly for other rare 1992 D-quarters, and more oddities began to surface: coins with off-center strikes, quarters struck on foreign planchets, even pieces with partially missing clad layers exposing copper cores in odd patterns. Some quarters bore faint doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust, while others showed reverse die cracks or fill dies, giving the eagle a mutated or blurry appearance. One particularly bizarre specimen discovered in Oregon appeared to have elements of both the standard Washington quarter reverse and the design used on test pieces for state quarters that wouldn't officially launch until 1999, sparking theories of secret prototypes, early design testing, or accidental use of experimental dies. Even more bizarre was a story from a retired Denver Mint employee who claimed to have witnessed a chaotic production day in 1992 when a batch of quarter blanks was mistakenly loaded into a press meant for commemorative coin testing. While this story remains unverified, it adds fuel to the fire that the 1992 D-quarter is not just valuable because of one mistake, but because it sits at the center of a web of unknowns, mishaps, and covert tests during a pivotal moment in minting history. Collectors began descending on coin shops, estate sales, and antique stores, waving scales and loops, hoping to find a 1992 D that felt just slightly off. Stories poured in of lucky finds, like the Michigan schoolteacher who discovered a double-die 1992 D-quarter in her son's coin collection, later selling it for $2.7 million, or the California teenager who found one in a coin roll purchased for $10 from a garage sale, only to learn the quarter was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign denomination, instantly making it one of the rarest known modern coin errors. What makes these quarters so valuable is not just the physical mistake, it's the perfect storm of timing, secrecy, technology, and rarity. The early 90s were a time of technological transition for the mint, with new computer systems being implemented, new machinery tested, and new coin series in development. Any errors from this period are inherently more intriguing because they occurred during moments of change. The 1992 D quarter represents a literal crossroad in coin history, a collision of old systems and new ambitions, where the likelihood of error was higher but the detection systems were still lagging. Combine that with the sheer volume of coins being minted, and you have a golden opportunity for a few truly unique coins to slip out unnoticed. And while millions of 1992 D quarters exist, only a microscopic fraction have the specific errors or anomalies that elevate them into the realm of 7 or 8-figure value. The mystique also comes from the fact that most people don't know what to look for. Are you holding a standard coin or one struck from misaligned dies? Is your quarter unusually light, hinting it was struck on an incorrect blank? Does it show doubling under magnification, or errors in the reading on the edge? These aren't questions the average person asks, yet, if they did, they might stumble onto the financial discovery of a lifetime. The coin market thrives on mystery, on hidden treasure, on the dream that something so small and ordinary could be priceless. And the 1992 D quarter is the ultimate embodiment of that dream. With each new discovery, with each rare error surfacing from a forgotten jar or dusty drawer, the legend grows. A coin once dismissed as pocket change is now a global phenomenon, and the rush to uncover more has sparked a new generation of collectors, fueled by hope, curiosity, and the thrill of the hunt. The value of the 1992 D quarter is now as much about its mystique as it is about the metal. It's the coin that refuses to be ordinary, the coin that whispers from forgotten corners of sock drawers and glove compartments, daring someone to notice it. So the next time you find a quarter stamped 1992 with a tiny D beneath Washington's neck, don't toss it aside. Examine it. Weigh it. Look closer. It might be the misprint of the century. It might be the hidden jackpot you've walked past 1,000 times. It might be the next $223 million miracle waiting for someone with the eyes to see and the heart to believe. And if that someone is you, then congratulations, you just became part of one of the greatest hidden chapters in American coin history. Keep searching, keep hoping, and never underestimate the power of a quarter, especially one from 1992 with a story that refuses to fade. Like, share, and subscribe because your change could change everything.